And it's an important month. 168 children lost their lives in 2024 due to child abuse. Well, this is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and students at the University of Illinois Springfield are making a statement and advocating. WAD's Adriana Hernandez-Santana talked with the students about how events like this spread awareness.
168 innocent lives lost.
Each pinwheel represents their own child.
It's just to represent the amount of children that died last year due to child abuse.
Nancy Cano and Emma West are both students at the University of Illinois Springfield. They are also campus child advocates.
Since it is April and it is Child Abuse Prevention Month, we want to do our best to honor those children and to bring awareness and to be the voice for children.
Their mission? Try and spread awareness as much as possible.
We bring a lot of events, volunteer opportunities, and just like events where people can socialize and connect with this sole purpose to advocate for children.
It's important to take all potential child abuse cases seriously, something that the students are trying to reflect.
We just try to stop the silence around this issue, and we try to break the silence around it. So just making it make a community where it's okay to talk about these things because they're hard to talk about.
As are many others on campus.
We have campus child advocates out here, and then we also have members of the social work club, and then we have a lot of faculty and staff who are also professors here who like to be involved with child advocacy.
And they plan to keep on advocating for the children.
We were all children at some point, and children need help. They need our help. They're everywhere. We need to do our best to prevent child abuse in general, but also prevent those 168 deaths.
In Springfield, Adriana Hernandez-Santana, WAND News.
If you suspect a child is in an abusive situation, reach out to the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, or you can always go to WANDTV.com for more information. A sinkhole formed on Rays Bridge Road this morning. Macon County Highway Department closed the road immediately to deal with it. Rays Bridge has been a construction site almost 2 years now after long-awaited efforts to renovate that 70-year-old bridge. Craig Schonkweiler, engineer with the Highway Department, says they cannot predict future sinkholes in this area, but they do checks regularly for deterioration. Discoveries by the Health Department at Gene Hackman's home. New records shedding light on what led to the deaths of the actor and his wife. And the tax deadline hits tomorrow. When those refunds hit your bank account, it's not advised to just go and spend it. Financial experts share some tips about ways to grow the money you get back. New findings now in the death investigation of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy. Public health records revealed several dead rodents and rodent nests were found around the New Mexico property. The two were found dead in their home back in February. Autopsies revealed she died from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare disease that humans can contract from rodents. A rocky morning for residents in San Diego County, California today. 5.2 magnitude earthquake struck around 10 a.m. local time. Residents say the sudden rumble is one of the bigger ones they've experienced. Fortunately, there has not been any reports of any big damage in the region or any emergency response required.
I was standing in my office and I got the notification a couple of seconds before I felt it.
And what'd you feel?
It was a pretty good shake.
I was actually supposed to be in class. I was asleep in my car, but it woke me up and I got the alert on my phone. I just thought it was like a big truck or something.
Several smaller aftershocks were felt in the afternoon. Origins of the quake could be traced to Julian, California, about an hour drive outside San Diego.
Well, with some cold gusty winds throughout the course of tonight into first thing tomorrow morning, I'd be going for the extra large and making it a hot one, because with the wind gusting at least 25, if not 30, 35 miles per hour, feels like temperatures a lot colder than these numbers that you see here. We'll take a looky-loo in a few moments from now.
President Trump met with the president of El Salvador, whose country is taking in deported migrants despite legal questions, heavy criticism. Leader says he will not release Garcia, a Maryland resident who was mistakenly deported. According to court filings, Garcia has never been criminally charged in either country, but during remarks today in the White House, Trump did not indicate he would make an effort to return Garcia stateside, setting up a possible legal fight with the Supreme Court. A small section of federal land along the U.S.-Mexico border being turned over by the Trump administration to the Department of Defense. It's part of a move to work around a federal law prohibiting U.S. troops from being used in domestic law enforcement, according to the Associated Press. This would allow the Army to control a base located there, enabling them to detain trespassers, including migrants. And developing tonight, the White House freezing more than $2 billion of federal money to Harvard University. College previously rejected demands from the White House to cut diversity, equity, inclusion programs. The school received a letter from numerous federal agencies telling them to change policies for admissions to hiring practices, even academic programs. In a statement, Harvard saying it will not allow itself to be overtaken by the federal government. Tax time is here. Tomorrow's the deadline to file those taxes. If you've already submitted your returns, you're likely already received a refund if you're lucky, or still waiting for it. Now it's time to plan how you're going to use that money. Jen Sullivan shares some financial tips from experts on where to invest.
If you've already filed your taxes with the IRS, you may have received a refund. So far this year, the IRS says it sent out nearly 68 million refunds. The average amount, just over $4,000. So, what should you do with that money?
You want that money to do its best work for you.
Jean Chatzky is the CEO and founder of HerMoney.com. Her first tip is to use that money to pay off any debt.
Pay off the high interest rate credit card debt. That's going to put a return into your pocket equal to the interest rate on the debt.
If you want to put that money away, Chatzky says don't just deposit it into a regular savings account.
Those accounts are paying about 0.4% interest rate.
So what are better options? She says look at certificate of deposit accounts, commonly known as CDs. It's a type of savings account that offers a fixed interest rate for a specific period of time. There's usually a deposit minimum. And beware, she says there may be a penalty for withdrawing the money.
The interest rate is 7 times that you'll get in a plain vanilla account.
Next, high-yield savings accounts. These accounts are offered by online banks and credit unions and offer higher interest rates. There's typically no minimum deposit required. Lastly, investing in the market.
The markets can go up and down, and this is money that we don't need in the short term. It's money that we can afford to let ride for a little bit longer.
If you choose that option, Chatzky recommends diversifying the types of stocks you invest in and try not to panic when the market goes down. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
WAND Weather's 7-day forecast, sponsored by Roto-Rooter.
Well, the 50s have it at this late hour across central Illinois, anywhere from 50 degrees in Paris to 56 or 58 in Lincoln. Now, everyone else sandwiched in between that, but yes, Lincoln coming in at 56, Decatur 58, Jacksonville 52 degrees. A little shower activity, not a whole heck of a lot. Let's hone in on this one, just coming on into the Illinois River. This is reaching the ground, but again, very, very light. More sprinkles as opposed to, say, bona fide rain and crumbling. Matter of fact, just take note of this. And here's a 3-hour time loop right here. Notice how it, becoming a little bit more in terms of piecemeal material. And back to the northwest where we had more coverage area just 3 hours ago, hardly anything right there. So as we go through the next couple of hours, some lighter sprinkles north and west. Otherwise, that's it. I mean, we'll pick up our fair share of clouds during the course of tonight and still into tomorrow morning as we still have the flow around our storm system over Canada continue to bring some clouds around, some chillier air as well. That's okay. It's not snow. There is another storm system. Isn't much of anything right now. It's out over the Pacific Ocean off the South Atlantic, California, but it's intensifying. So I'll come back to that. First and foremost, I mentioned Minneapolis and Reno before the top of the hour. Airflow's Minneapolis tonight, also tomorrow night. Late this week, it's the airflow coming in from Reno, Nevada. Yeah, crossing the Great Basin. So it's going to get warm here. Just got to get rid of the cold. But the price to pay to get it warm is going to be that risk of severe weather. And this isn't just any time on Friday. It's more Friday evening, Friday night. So we'll keep tabs on that one for you. Right now, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Little to nothing in terms of sprinkle activity. But as we go through tomorrow afternoon, clouds give way to increasing amounts of sunshine. It's not going to do a whole heck of a lot of justice. It'll be below average, but all in all, not too shabby. So -1 or 2 of those sprinkles early on. We're in at 43 degrees toward daybreak, and we'll head back into the 50s as it eventually turns out mostly sunny during the height of the afternoon. But there's a caveat here. Feels like temperatures first thing in the morning tomorrow after the sun comes up, very close to freezing. So you may want to dress for that, then ditch the jacket during the height of the afternoon, although it's still going to be windy until the time the sun goes down tomorrow night. And once that sun does go down, yeah, frosty cold tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Then it warms into the mid-60s. Bright day on Wednesday. Clouds start to move back in advance of that Pacific storm system. That's off the coast of Southern California. Limited precipitation associated with it initially. And once the warm front moves through, we busted up all the way to 80 degrees on Good Friday. Now it comes at a windy price. It'll be gusting 30, 40 miles an hour. But with a cap mostly entrenched across central Illinois, there's not much happening during the day. But once the cap erodes with an approaching cold front Friday evening, Friday night, that is your risk of stormy weather. And that storm system, the cool front, is going to stall near Interstate 70. So there's still going to be wet weather associated with it. It'll try to lift back northward during the daylight hours on Saturday. Maybe it succeeds getting all the way toward Interstate 74 late in the day Saturday, but my money's on Saturday night and on into Easter for the wettest time frame. Sean?
Invited to the White House, champion teams often are, but one of the nation's top officials may have dropped the ball this time around, or perhaps something more valuable. His response to the gaffe coming up. Talk about a bad fumble. The Ohio State football team made their visit to the White House celebrating the recent national championship. Vice President J.D. Vance had a little trouble with the trophy. The gold statue fell off its base. Vance attempted to hold the college football trophy for a photo op and whoops. Afterward, Vance took to X where he said, "I didn't want anyone after Ohio State to get the trophy, so I decided to break it," end quote. The torches that will carry the Olympic flame for the 2026 Winter Games were unveiled today. Made from recycled aluminum, the torches each have different styles: blue for the Olympics and bronze for the Paralympics. Milan, Italy, and the town of Cortina d'Ampezzo, the main host for the Games, is the sites for one of Italy's most famous ski resorts. The Olympic Games run February 6th through the 22nd next year, right here on NBC.
That's right, and make sure to stick around for sport. It finally happened. KJ and Will have declared for the NBA draft. After the break, Mark Tupper stops by to talk about their impact at Illinois, becoming the first players to be one and dones.
WAND Sports is sponsored by Route 66 Solar.
Welcome in for another Tupper's Take. Adina Bellstor, Mark Tupper. Mark, the day finally happened. Will and KJ announcing they declared for the draft. They do have a little bit to say they're not going to actually go after the combine.
Right.
I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Do you see either one of them possibly returning to college basketball next year?
Well, Kasparis Giacosionis is on all of the major mock drafts, and these are made after referring with NBA people.
Yeah.
That he's a lottery pick. And so I know some people, a lot of Illini fans say, I just don't think he's ready. And that doesn't matter. They believe they love his 6'6" frame that looks like it'll fill out with muscle. They think he's a really instinctive passer. And they all believe that his shooting fell off after his wrist injury.
Yeah.
That he's a better shooter than what he was able to show late in the season. Will Riley is a little different thing. They love a lot of things about his game. They don't like his body. He's too frail, too thin. But he's so good at some things that, it's a matter of projection. And I see him late first round, and I've seen him as low as mid second round.
Okay.
And if he decides he doesn't like that and could come back and make himself into a lottery pick, which is possible, he'd have to let Brad know, and Brad would have to present him with a lot of money because the cost to get players right now has never been higher. And he has until May 28th to pull out.
Yeah.
So I think they're both gone.
Yeah.
And these would be the first two one-and-done players in Illinois program history. And, good for them. I'd like to have two-and-done players.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of players, not even players, just fans, they like the one-and-dones. You like to have that talent for a year, but I would love to see people return to at least 2-3 more years. I wish it was kind of like college football where you have to play at least 3 years. But
I wish it was too.
It's not the same
No,
when it's basketball.
it's not the
But
same.
Illinois women's basketball and football also got some big recruits
Really
this
doing
weekend.
good. Illinois women got a couple of guards. Men got a couple of guys out of Florida in football. So all that's going great. Come on, Brad, get a couple more.
Yes, well, thank you so much. Tune in on Friday for another Tupper's Take. And our play of the day brought to you by Menards out on the baseball diamond. Mount Zion hosting St. Teresa on Senior Day. First inning, Dogs with one on. Jax Harrison takes it opposite field all the way to the fence, and Logan Lynch is easily going to come in to score. St. T takes the early 1-0 lead, but the Braves answer in the bottom of the inning. Bases loaded, no outs. Evan Hamrick drives it through the infield. 2 runs are going to come in to score. The Braves take the 2-1 lead, and the pitcher is calming down after the first inning. Lynch gets the batter to chase at strike 3 to end the inning. And Sam Driscoll was feeling good on the mound for the Braves. He's going to strike out the batter to end the inning as Mount Zion is going to go on to win one at home 14-1.